Hello and welcome back to World Talks on TVP World with me, Ashin Kumar. Azerbaijan Airlines says that the preliminary results of an investigation into the crash of its plane in Kazakhstan on 25th December have blamed, quote, physical and technical external interference. 38 of the 67 people on board, including 5 crew members, died when the Embraer jet came down at high speed, bursting into flames 3 kilometers short of the runway at Aktau airport. On Thursday, Azerbaijani government sources told Euronews that their initial investigation indicates that a Russian surface-to-air missile was responsible for the crash. Was this an act of violence against a civilian plane, a mistake, or simple incompetence by the Russian military? Well, to explore these options, I'm joined by Bauyrzhan Zhanuzakov, international relations lecturer at Łazarski University. Bauyrzhan, welcome to TVP World, and thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Okay, so talk us through what you think happened here.
Well, first of all, the first impulse when I'm reading the news is to express sincere condolences to the families who have lost their close ones, loved ones in this tragic accident, and a speedy recovery to those who were lucky to survive it. Well, there is a whole cloud of mystery around the accident and range of questions. Formal statement by Kazakhstani government is trying to initiate and implement the investigation is that we should be keeping aloof from all these speculations.
Is it speculation, though? I mean, you know, the fact that, well, not the fact, but many people are saying it was a Russian missile. I mean, you know, they must have some basis for saying that, don't you think?
Of course. The warning that we should actually stay away, keep aloof from speculation is quite a reasonable warning, but then all these evidences that are plentiful in internet, on the free reach, is it's quite provoking. They're raising questions, and the questions are why? Well, we've all seen the shootages of the plane carcass on the side with all the holes in it. We've seen the videos shot by the people on the board, well, during this emergency landing and attempt, and we've seen all their questions about why did it have to change the route, and then why did it disappear, why from the radars, why the GPS has been actually not functioning. All these questions actually provoke a specific image, and I think they are a fair ground to raise this question. The people who are asking these questions are not necessarily speculating, but they're trying to dig up the truth and try to understand what really happened.
Understood. Well, yes, I think that's a very fair point to make. But just to clarify, you talk about changing of routes. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, we all know that it has been bound from Baku to Grozny, and then it had changed the path, and then
so it was going from Baku to Grozny in Chechnya.
Yes,
initially.
Yes, initially, and well, we also know that there were several attempts to land in Chechnya, right? And then by information shared by one of the survivors of the plane, it's something happened over there. There was a blast, and they couldn't explain it. Some people, or some of the survivors, have said or tried to explain it with potential, I don't know, bumping into the pack of birds, or maybe there's something else. What matters is that the plane didn't land in Grozny, that it had to change the course and it had to traverse the whole Caspian Sea. And
so
then,
after it had been damaged,
yes,
it couldn't land in Grozny?
Exactly, and it wasn't allowed to land in other, nearby cities.
Right.
Is Aktau the closest, landing spot to Grozny?
Outside Russia, of course, in Kazakhstan.
I mean, well, that's a good question. And the other good question is then why did it disappear from the GPS radars for a while?
When did this happen?
This happened on the morning of 25th of December, right?
No. When did it disappear off the radar? After it had been damaged?
Yeah, I think it has disappeared after it has been damaged.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So a number of questions here, which
Exactly.
are call for clarity. But it seems at the moment that the money is on shooting down.
Exactly.
Now, Grozny, above the Chechen capital, of course, has been attacked by Ukrainian drones.
Well, as it happens, yeah, the same. I think the same night these were the formal official statements.
Right. So why was the plane flying to Grozny? I mean, it's a war zone in effect, isn't it?
Well, were these? I mean, these were unpredicted attacks by the allegedly Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles, and then the plan, what they call Kovер, the plan to defend the areas from these Ukrainian allegedly aerial attacks. We don't know. This is a good question too. But then we know this is not the first precedent of passenger planes, commercial planes being shot down. Sometimes, by accident or by lack of competence. Right. In 2014, this notorious case of MH17 that was grounded and. I think it has been confirmed by investigators, independent investigators. It was grounded by Russian-backed forces in the eastern flank of Ukraine. And is it a pattern? That's a good question, right? And actually, this is not the first time that something like that happens in the 21st century in this given geographic area. In 2001, there was also an unlucky accident. I think that was a Russian flight and flying and crossing the borderline of Ukraine and Russia, and that was shot down somewhere around the Black Sea.
Do we know who by?
It was a drill. United drills by by Ukrainian and Russian forces, from what I remember.
Right. Okay. So as you say, in that region, it seems pretty dangerous to be up in the air. I mean, is this something that passenger civilian flights need to bear in mind? And if so, what's the impact going to be if people can't get around? I mean, the Russian people. I mean, there are a few places they can visit anyway already. This is going to be even more limited now if there aren't any planes coming into airports in Russia.
This has been already the case before. The direct flight from Warsaw to Astana has been extended from around 4.5 hours to around 6.5 hours, if I'm not mistaken. And that's exactly because of the current conflict.
It's rerouting.
Yeah, it just tries to flank the Black Sea by the southern flank of it. Yeah.
Right. Yes, but I'm talking about people in Russia. The ordinary man or woman in Russia who wants to go on holiday or go somewhere on business. If there are no international flights coming in or going out, they're going to be grounded themselves, aren't they? I mean, this is going to have an impact socially and economically.
You're right, and it's not only people in Russia. The plane, the victims of this tragic accident were not only Russian citizens, as well Azerbaijani citizens, as well Kazakhstan. There were 6 people from Kazakhstan. There were several people from Kyrgyzstan even. So, it kind of makes it also, there are people participating in the Ukrainian conflict, from Kazakhstan citizens participating in the Ukrainian conflict, and probably there are death tolls over there, but then of the civilians, Kazakhstan civilians dying due to this confrontation in Ukraine, probably we could also count this as the first accident, right?
Right. Well, as you say, we certainly aren't certain. Investigations are continuing. There are a lot of questions yet remaining to be answered. So we don't know if it's an accident or not. But looking at history of shootings of civilian aircraft in the region, one needs to make one's own decisions on that. As things do clarify, though, we would like to have you back to share any further insights and analysis with our audience. Bauyrzhan, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for
coming along and talking to us tonight. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And that's all from us in this episode of World Talks. Goodbye.